This just is flat. Jeez. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we're going to be going over the all-new Shelby Super Snake. Now, this one is the 4-door version. A lot of you have asked me to review this, and well, here we are. Before getting this video, though, a huge shout out and thank you to the Ed Kenley Ford here in Layton, Utah for giving me some time with this Super Snake. I'll include a link to their inventory in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. If you have any questions or need any help, just ask for Wayne. And if you don't know, the Ed Kenley Ford does not charge any sort of markups over MSRP on any of the products. So if you want a great deal on a Ford, just reach out to them. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. So under the hood, we have a supercharged 5-liter V8 that goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission. Power outputs are 775 horsepower and well over 600 pound-feet of torque. And the way they accomplish this, obviously, is the supercharger. They also upgrade stuff like the fuel injectors. You guys can see we've got new air intake with the carbon fiber there. So lots of fancy stuff happening under the hood for big power. Now, before we go over the front end, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. We got our cool supercharged badge here, and then you guys can see all of the hood venting, which is functional. And then, of course, we've got the racing stripes there in the center as well. Now, this is built off of a Lariat F-150, so you've got the upgraded headlights here with the daytime running lights, and then you guys can see down into the fog light area. And then, of course, you got the Shelby here on the front grille, which looks so aggressive. Parking sensors on the front end, and then you guys can see the front splitter too. I mean, crazy looking front bumper for a pickup truck. And putting it all together, this is such a cool looking pickup truck. I mean, that means business. Coming around the side here, our tire and wheel setup is 305, 40, 22 in the front and over in the rear as well. And then you guys can see with the wheels completely blacked out with the Shelby Cobra there in the center. And then you also have Shelby on the brake caliper as well. And yeah, definitely a cool look. Now, there's not much to see here because, well, the truck is lowered, but speaking of the truck being lowered, you basically have Fox adjustable coilover suspension in the rear. You also have adjustable Fox shocks, and then we've got replacement for the upper control arms, performance rear traction bars, and then we also have a performance rear sway bar as well, and this is the front suspension. A lot of that stuff is happening over in the rear end of the truck. We've got these cool body painted fender flares, and then look at the Shelby Super Snake badge there on the side. And then we have Shelby down at the bottom, and then 775 HP for the horsepower. And then of course we got another Shelby logo. And then here's your full side view on the truck, and seeing a lowered F-150 4-door like this is just so interesting, but I think it looks cool. Now, since this is built off of a Lariat, you just have the normal Lariat key fob here with the unlock function, the lock function, remote start, and then the drop down for the tailgate. And then being a Lariat, you guys can see you've got the LED tail lights here, and then those racing stripes continue onto the back area. Notice we got the Shelby logo there. We've got parking sensors here at the bottom, and then look how aggressive these exhaust tips are. You guys will like the sound of the exhaust. And then this also does come with a bed cap. This is not only for aesthetic purposes, but also functional, so that you basically aren't going to have airflow pop into the bed, which would make this less aerodynamically efficient. And I think it's hilarious that they've got the racing stripes even on the cap. And putting it all together, I really do like the look of the 2-door version. You guys can see one right there, but I think that this 4-door version looks just slightly better, but that's just my opinion. Now, when it comes to the interior, this has the regular Lariat interior on the door panel side of things, so they haven't changed anything there. But when you pop to the seats, you guys can see they changed the seats. So you've got these new leather seats. Look at like the design there in the center. Really cool look. And I will say that just the difference in covers makes it so the seats feel like different when you sit in them. But then all of the rest of the stuff, well, like the storage pocket, and then actually there's carbon fiber right there, so that's a little bit different. But all these features like the heated seats in the back and everything, those are all the same. And then since this is a Super Crew, you've got Super Crew space. Now that trend continues to the front door panel here, as you guys can see, and then look at all of our window controls here. Front two are automatic. We got memory seat functionality, blind spot monitoring here with the mirrors as well. And then we've got these front seats you guys can see with the headrest. It's got perforations, Shelby logo right there, and then look at the center of the seat as well. Power adjustments, and then we actually get these cool custom pedals. And then the last thing you guys can see that's changed is the carbon fiber trim here on the side. Now let's just take a look at the elements that have been Shelby-ified, and then I'll mention some of the elements that haven't been, so you guys can kind of get an overall feel for the truck. But anyways, carbon fiber here on the steering wheel. You guys can see the insert that has been added there, and then all around the gauge cluster as well. And then being a Lariat, you actually have this full digital gauge cluster, so that is unchanged from stock. You still have all the normal Lariat drive modes. Now the mode that you guys will want to use the most is actually on the other side. Whoops. The sport mode right there. I don't think you're gonna do mud and ruts with this particular pickup truck. Now, something else that I think is pretty cool is this has the 360 camera system added to it, which I think is important considering the price point that this truck happens to be at. And so it definitely is something that gives a little bit of peace of mind. And then just the normal 12-inch display. And then you guys can see we've got more carbon fiber trim. The camera will pick it up all around the 12-inch display and kind of like all over the dash. Now, another cool fact with this being a Lariat is the fact that we actually have 4-wheel drive auto as well as 4-wheel high. So this has the better 4-wheel drive system compared to what you're gonna get with like a base Super Snake that's built off of a base F-150 that doesn't have that 4-wheel drive system. And then you guys can see we've got more carbon fiber trim all over in this area. And then of course we've got our plaque here on the center console, which is really cool. And then look at like the red stitching and everything. And then this just has like the regular center console, nothing too crazy with that. And then also on the glove box, you guys can see got the 60 years emblem right there. And you know, storage space is actually really solid because, you know, normal F-150. And then it looks like the dash also unchanged. And then up top we got like a sunglass holder, and then this truck happens to have a panoramic sunroof and then also power sliding rear windows. So it's got all the normal luxury Lariat things. Now this is the Shelby sticker, but I can tell you this was built off of a Lariat that's stickered for $72,000. That was the base truck before the Shelby stuff has been added. So if you're standing up, I'd recommend you sit down before I go over the pricing and everything. But anyways, you can see all of the equipment. So I went over a lot of things in the video, but not everything. So if you're an equipment nerd, then just feel free to freeze a frame so you can read every single thing that they added to this. I really just want to focus on like how this stuff actually functions in the real world with driving. But anyways, there's your total MSRP, $131,365. Let's see how this thing drives. Let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's your visibility over the hood, both of the mirrors. Just do have blind spot wondering, then with the rest of the rear. And we are going to set right off. First thing I want to mention is I love these seats. They're super comfortable. Now don't get me wrong, like the base Lariat seats are pretty comfortable, but I feel like they must have done something with the padding, because like these just feel way more comfortable than normal Lariat F-150 seats. So good job to the folks at Tuscany / Shelby for doing this. And setting off, ooh, I love the rumble you get from the V8. Let me adjust the GoPro for you guys a little bit, sorry about that. But yeah, the rumble from the V8, it's just like constant. And we can actually open up the rear window a little bit so we can hear it even better. Now with this interior, again, most of it's just carryover from the regular Lariat. They do add a lot of this carbon fiber trim, which I think definitely makes it feel more special compared to a regular Lariat. And I think it looks good. Like, I would have to say that out of all, and let's actually check this first. Yeah, okay. Out of all the Shelby trucks that I've driven, I think I like how this one's set up with like the dash color from factory with the carbon fiber insert in terms of how this looks put together. I think they did a really good job with that. And also the pedals, they look so cool. Again, I guess if you're like a younger person, you'll be like, it doesn't matter. But like if you like old school muscle cars, that the pedals kind of remind me of, you know, some of those older school muscle cars. It's actually really quiet. Like you get nice V8 sounds, but it's not like too over the top to where it's gonna drone or anything. So you can tell that they've built this out with the intention of making it so this truck would actually, as crazy as this sounds, would be daily drivable. Like, I don't know who would drive a Super Snake on a daily basis, but like it's got 4-wheel drive and the suspension's really comfortable too. Like you could definitely daily drive this 100%. But again, I don't know who would daily drive a Super Snake. It's such a crazy vehicle to consider doing that. Steering's still light like a normal F-150. I'm just going extra slow to give the school bus some space. I like to kind of feel the handling of a vehicle around these corners a little bit. And I mean, there's like no body roll with this. Again, a regular pickup truck, you're gonna have some body roll. This just is flat. Jeez, that was just partial throttle. Partial throttle. This thing's got some power. We're actually gonna close that up a little bit. And on the highway, it's actually very smooth with the ride quality. It's definitely a little bit bumpier. Well, no, actually not. I was gonna say it's a little bit bumpier compared to regular F-150, but it's mostly because the lack of travel. It's actually pretty good though. Oh, this thing. It sounds so good, and it's so smooth. That's the thing I love about the supercharged 5.0 is it's just such a buttery smooth powertrain. And you know, this does obviously have a warranty, you know, from Tuscany, but even without the warranty, I mean, the 5.0 is very reliable, and even if you supercharge it, it's still a very reliable powertrain. So, solid with that. This drives really well. Compared to the two-door, it's smoother with the ride quality. I'd say that I feel more confident in the truck. The two-door feels kind of crazy. This, you know, there's, because it's a slightly longer pickup truck, it feels like there's more stability. But there's some, yeah, coming to a stop, there's a little bit of, you know, harshness with the suspension there. You can tell because of how, yeah, how they have things set up. And I imagine, you know, making it so a pickup truck can actually get grip in the rear, it's very difficult because of how little weight you have over the bed. So you probably have to really make sure that that rear suspension's in line with what you're looking for. Oh man, I wish all F-150s had this powertrain. This is such a good powertrain. It's just so quick, and this handles really, like, again, for a pickup truck, it handles so well, and it sounds really cool. Again, it's got more of like an old school muscle car sound to it. So, setting things up here with the Super Snake, the 4-door version, I really like it. I think this is the version that I would go for if I were to get a Super Snake. I understand that the 2-door is kind of like the cooler, sportier one, and that's why they call it the Super Snake Sport. But, you know, this you could actually like take your family in because it's got 4 doors, but it's more comfortable. It's actually daily drivable. You get a nicer truck, right? You get a better 4-wheel drive system because it's built off a Lariat. It's not built off of like a more baseline work truck. And so I think this is worth it. I think this is probably the one to go for with the Super Snake. But I want you guys to still let me know which one you'd go for. And brakes are pretty normal. Like it's got a lot more power than regular F-150, but they feel pretty normal. Yeah, wow. This thing's fun. Let me know what you guys think. That's gonna sum things up with our video on this Super Snake. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Ed Kenley Ford for giving me some time with this truck. Check out the info in the description down below. I'll see you.